Last time on The Empire's Edge.
And then as she was moving backward, you can tell that hands clasped around her and pulled her like further into the darkness, just outside of your field. She was still backwards when that happened.
No.
He says, "So, you have come to me finally. I didn't expect it, but this will serve my purpose."
I'm not sharing table with anything. I'm cutting his head off. Jacob, shoot him!
There are two ghouls that are now moving forward.
On our flanks!
Max, damn it!
And now we're both out of spell slot.
Hey, welcome to the club.
In this room, or do you go back to one of the previous rooms?
I don't want to leave the party.
What do I want to do first? This is so exciting. Wear the ring, put it in the slot of number 1, and see what happens.
You hear a voice in this chamber. It isn't like it's just in your own head. It's spoken from some point in here. Cral says, "Behind you. Seek the throne of Endara, servants of Lasden. But beware of the Horned One, King Abner's avatar, the only extension of himself able to dwell outside the tomb." And then he's gone. So then he disappears. It's just all of you alone in this tomb right now, and your tension level's probably starting to go down. What do you do first?
I believe if I could have an hour, maybe a little longer, I could attune myself to the use of this ring.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but this tomb is probably the soundest tactical position, that if there's anything else still in the area, it's got a straight chute to come through rather than it can come at us from any direction.
Yeah, as Boris says that, the other three of you, that's including Cral, is very aware that this has been the most solid structure in these ruins you've gone through. So it is
stone slab walls, then heaped up with like 30 feet of dirt.
right.
So,
If it's able to come through the wall, it's going to kill us anyway. So
Yeah, so it is probably the safest place
Wait.
tactically.
You're saying we sleep here in the tomb?
they got beds everywhere. May as well.
Yeah, and we.
Just clear one off.
Yeah,
Exactly.
how good's the ventilation? How
it's
for having
right,
a
yeah.
fire
Can we
in.
drag
And it
out
also
Stinky
smells horrible in here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
well-
that was the thought, that once we all go, yeah, okay, fine, this is not a great option, but it's our best option, because I don't feel like going out to Violet's house and hanging out. Who knows
Yeah,
what's
that's
still
true.
out there?
Okay.
Cral volunteers.
Crawl and I drag
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
the
And also-
ghouls and Abner out to
And we might,
the entry room. if
even though
not
this is the
further.
furthest back one and it stops here, we might just pick one closer to the front so that way the fire can draft out if we wanted to build one in here.
Honestly, yeah, that if we know the space is clear behind us, it's all, how come, do you need to stay here to attune to stuff?
Well, and I do want to still explore those crystal blocks. You know, we still had that set of 12 crystal blocks that were all locked together. I could take them with us if we wanted to move out further.
With your assessment, do you need that like cracked stone sphere to do anything with?
I think it did something once, but I think when they took the center stone that we have in our tinderbox, I don't think that has any more
Oh,
power.
did we lose that thing or can we get
No,
it
we
back?
still
Yeah,
have it.
Oh, you still have it.
I'd
still have
retrieve it and put it back in the tinderbox.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah, let's move those crystals out to the first room.
Yeah.
Boot the ghouls out of there too.
Yeah, that has the best air, obviously.
Yeah. Set up a campfire. Take watches.
Okay, and I have an herbalism kit, so I'll throw some things on the fire to make it smell a little less stanky.
There
in
we
here.
go, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that would work
Counteract
too.
sulfur.
Yeah. Mint and lavender.
A little
So do you
sage.
take, say, the slab that was just inside the door in that opening room was the one that had the person most recently, about 40 years ago, interred upon it. Do you take a spot in the ground right behind that so you have like a backing for the fire? It's not directly open, or do you want to be almost in the entranceway to the cave itself, the tomb itself?
I think having a fire on the opposite side of it from the entrance is probably the best. So that way more light is being concealed and we're not luring things in. Because that is the one exchange.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So when you're talking about Zelen taking the stones out with you, there wasn't just 12 of them. There's actually 13 that fit together. The first 12 were all numbered, like 1 through 12, in the Confederation's language. It was like they lifted it right out of it, and they seem to be using the same language. And then there's a 13th one that simply has what we tantamount to a letter Z, like the end of their alphabet. And then there's one that doesn't belong to the set. It's just adjacent to it. And that's the one that had the M scribed on it that you guys were guessing was this Michael.
And that's the one I took over. That one we already got the message from, because that was the repeat of the message about where he's broken things up.
Right. Does that end of the alphabet one nest together with the other ones? Like
it does.
It does.
Yeah.
It's right at the end.
So I'm going to take all 13 of those with us up to the front. And as I attune with this ring, I'm going to see if I can use that to get the information out of whatever these things are.
Nerd, enjoy reading your books. I'm going to draw a map.
Map nerd.
Yeah, and I guess I'm just maintaining gear and stoking fire until it's time for bed.
Jock nerd.
Then I guess Cral's taking the first watch.
Yeah.
He gets fire going. So does
I'll do
Boris
second.
go out and get firewood? Did we ever get firewood?
Oh, it's a good
before?
point. What are we making a fire out of?
I
Bones burn.
You need a hot fire though.
Yeah, while
Pop
you
back
were
over to Violet's and smash up a door or a bed or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely ruin some furniture and bring it back.
she was the last thing living.
There might be trees closer than that.
No, she picked the the area to the west
That's
clean.
right.
That's why I went to the west, because it was like, don't go to the west. I'm like, oh, screw you, lady.
I'm
Where do
gonna
you
go
hide?
to the west and see what's there. Right. So you guys are all set. You're in the front room. You've got a fire going. Crawl is near the door, keeping watch, and you're each doing your own things. So you are getting that rest. An hour later, Zelen.
Is there anything that I'm learning as I am attuning to the ring and picking up these different crystal blocks?
Yes. So initially, are you putting the ring on? Are you?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely putting the ring on.
That you note right off, just with that attunement to it, that it is yours. That it had to be attuned to for it to work to you. And you recognize again, you had tried, I believe, to put the shape of the seal into the side of that first one of the stones that was in all these stones that layer together, that you believe that does do a thing, that it's tantamount to a key to unlocking whatever the knowledge is in those things, whatever information is therein. But then you also know, just wearing it, that you believe you are more difficult to hit in a combat, that you
That's
are.
good.
Yeah, so it is actually a ring of protection. So your armor class is up by 1. And you have a +1 on all of your saves. Cool thing.
So, okay, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yay.
What does it change your armor class to now?
15.
15, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she definitely needed that.
And then if I do bark skin again, then I'll be up there with Boris. So
Do you vocalize anything to the rest of us about that nice ring you have there? Or
Do you
about
keep your
feeling-
mithril armor secret from the rest of us until you get stabbed by a cave troll?
I don't understand what any of that means.
It was a Lord of the Rings reference.
I'm going to, I will definitely tell you that this ring is definitely now mine. It's vibrating the same way I am. And I believe I could take more hits, but let's not test that theory.
Well, thinking about that now, I know that Boris got a really cool sword from the inside of the pillar at that church that we went to.
Yeah.
You just got this really cool ring, and I was going to offer you Violet's old sword, but I might hold on to it just so I have something cool.
Yeah, honestly, I think it makes better sense for you to have that from me.
Yeah,
than me to have.
after I thought about it, after you were first describing it,
Right.
understanding how it works now, it actually is better on average than the sword I would use whenever my bow wasn't feasible.
Most definitely. That it is such a lightweight and slightly undersized short sword. You're still getting all the finesse stuff you would get using dex instead of strength if you wanted to. It just can't roll the maximum 6. It's be a 2 to 5, so 1 to 4 plus 1, and then the 2 for the
because that was the main
weapon
issue I was having is I didn't know the difference between finesse and martial.
Now, what about the crystal blocks? Is there anything that I can learn from those?
If you have to put the
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Do I
Wonder Twin powers activate.
form of knowledge to me?
yeah, and you get that. You recognize
Form of librarian.
although there is so much information that comes to you right away that you realize as you put that ring into the block, and you don't believe, now that you're attuned to it, and you've put the signet to the end side of that first block, that now you can just access it. Once you have the knowledge and you can go through these things, that these are spell books. This is a wizard spell book, and there's also additional information in it as well. But that if you were to ever want to dip into the wizard class for a level or levels, that this would be your medium to do just that.
And this, dear listeners, is what we call foreshadowing.
What about the Z? What about the book that's marked with a Z?
The Z is a shortcut. And what you're getting out of that is a restriction that you don't want to go there. There isn't direct access, and there will be tantamount to a very complex logarithm of spelling ability to do to open it. And you believe that you could do it in time, but you suspect that it is the very knowledge that whoever this Abner was
Yes.
used on himself.
So I'm going to share that. The 1 through 12 crystal blocks, I understand. This is a spell book. This is things that ultimately, given time and maybe some tutoring, I could help and increase my ability. This Z is what went wrong. This crystal that's marked with Z, Abner must have been trying to shortcut. He must have been trying to use this knowledge in a twisted way. And I think that this is what happened to him. I don't know that I want to take this one. I mean, I guess nobody can access it without the ring. I don't know that I want this one with us because I don't know that we want these two things combined again.
Go ahead and make a perception roll. And I think everyone else can make that perception roll too, as she's talking about the kind of things that made Abner.
18. 16.
Yeah, more than likely, they both gotten it, whatever.
Mine is a 12.
Okay, so it occurs to both Jacob and to,
Boris.
honestly, Crawl also is right there to 16.
Sheesh.
Actually, 17. Yeah, no, just straight up 16. That she gets this too, but she doesn't know what to get because she wasn't there for the rest of it. That both Jacob and
She was there for a
Boris,
chunk of it. She was just unconscious occasionally.
They're saying it sounds like that book that Z is almost the kind of stuff that makes a Zrek. It's like an encapsulation of that undeady kind of stuff.
All right, yeah. I was thinking additionally, well, it's time to burn some books. And now I'm going full Inquisition. Time to burn some books.
Well, these are crystal.
I got a hammer.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of, will that do anything to the rest of them if one of the sets destroyed?
Oh, and is that like the bookend? So
That's
at the
bookend
very
of
end of it, is it flat on the other side? It doesn't nest to another one?
Correct.
Ooh, it's evil, but it might be necessary. Does
It
anything
in
happen
itself
when you
isn't
stack them
evil.
all?
It's just
Oh, yeah.
knowledge.
It has some, some
the short
could be
knowledge.
misused
Okay.
knowledge in the back
Victor
of
the
it.
Necromancer agrees that it's actually more moral to have undead troops than kill living people in a war. Boris the Paladin argues the point.
So shattering that
Is bad.
Shattering that one, which you could do, you still have the strength and the power to do, could do something to ruin the rest of this set of books because they're made as a unit.
Can we make a Arcana check to see if that would actually be the case?
Yeah, sure. That's a great idea. Go ahead and make Arcana check.
Can I do a religion instead?
Ooh. 21.
You go ahead and try that. Really, see what it
18.
does. Yeah, 21. Jacob already has it
Yeah,
somehow. But yeah,
I do spelly casting.
17.
but
you do spellcasting really well. So yeah, I think both Zelen and Boris are going, yeah, I'm feeling the same way, but Jacob is just positive. If we destroy that end one, we're going to eliminate the ability to access the power in the rest of them.
Okay.
It is a set. It is a magical item. It just is in different pieces.
That was my concern, but I definitely think that as evil as it should be, we definitely should not destroy it. It's better to have it so that way no one else can have access to it, because if it gets to it and someone's trying to take it from us, then we destroy it.
Know thy enemy.
So, and then with that same perception roll you guys just made, you're aware of something else. You don't want to leave it behind. That would actually make sense that this could be the very thing that the Zrek were initially looking for, that if they knew this kind of stuff. I mean, somehow that Zrek had the stone that was in the big stone in this room, and they might not have even know where it came from.
Just in the wrong end of the country looking for
Yeah.
the place.
Right, and they just didn't know where to go to look for it because that stone probably in their own mythos and legends had...
Did we find zombie Atlantis?
But then once we know how they're made, it'll give us a step to figure out how to unmake them.
Yeah.
That's a thought.
Or it might contain information on how to destroy undead real nice.
Cool. I'm glad that I was able to convince you guys.
Yeah, and Zelen, you're also aware that you believe that some of the knowledge that's in this is also how to like telegraph or imbue various stones with certain magical effects. So it is its own, I'm going to call it a subclass or a sub-build, but that knowledge is here.
I
as
think
well.
the wizard term is arcane tradition.
It's a different arcane tradition.
Okay.
It's the stonemasons of wizards. All right, so that
So
was
they all,
after
yeah,
your...
they're all coming with us. So do I carry all of them, or do we separate the Z block and the ring in people?
Yeah, you know what? Here, do you want to hold on to the...
I can stick it in the tinderbox too.
Yeah, he'll hold on to the evil book.
Probably too
No,
big for the tinderbox.
I'll
Oh.
keep the ring if you take the Z block.
Yeah, so she'll keep all of them. You just
Yeah.
keep the one that we were all iffy about. Well, you were
Yeah.
iffy about, yeah.
All right. So that being done, you're probably carrying really only about 1.5 pounds
That's nothing for
of
me.
stone. I know for a
5e character, yeah.
well, and for a primitive backpacker camper like yourself, yeah, that's nothing. So
I pick a nice slab, set it all up, put my bedroll on top of it.
make it cozy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am
I
not
pick a
sleeping
stretcher
on a
floor.
slab. I'll sleep on the floor.
Kick off the corpse that was on top of it.
All right, so you guys go through your rotations. There's nothing else that's in here that would be the hazard. There's nobody else left in this town, and any critters that live nearby that could be a threat or a problem already know, call it vibrationally, not to come to this place anyway. So it is dawn, pre-dawn. You have that
Yes,
kind of gray
the
quality.
vibrations deer sense as opposed to the ghouls they sense when they get bit. We
And
go near there, we get eaten. Remember Fred?
as whoever's on the last shift, that
Me.
was Jacob, yeah. So as your shift is winding down, the light is growing outside, the fire is long since burned down, so that's the light source. You can see that there's a little bit of a cleared spot right in front of the tomb, but then it's the woodland that's overgrown the entire city of Sarn-Tar-Azul.
This would be so peaceful if it wasn't.
Can I just confirm that this means we have all of our hit points and spells and all that stuff
Yes,
back?
this is a long rest.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've taken
good.
a long rest.
Just checking.
Yay, 5e.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, because I have my spells back and it feels so good.
Ah, yes, I'm feeling
So,
very refreshed.
Zelen, as you are feeling refreshed and you step out into the main entryway to the tomb, you notice something. So go ahead and make it do it a knowledge nature for me.
It's just nature in 5e.
Sorry, thank you.
15.
There is just opposite you, about 60 feet away, a very large pine tree. And you're gauging just by the height and the girth of the tree of itself that in these conditions, it probably should have lived to be a much older tree, a larger tree, but it is quite dead. And there are other pine trees adjacent to it that are still alive, of maybe slightly smaller size, about the same size, and then many that are a lot younger too. But that one's dead, and it just
It
piques
doesn't
your curiosity
look
that
like
there's
it's been
that
hit by
one
lightning
dead.
or...
No, there's no obvious like half the top's missing or it's split down the side.
Right.
But it just seems weird, and it's the first thing you're seeing right outside this dead tomb. There's a
Jacob,
big dead pine tree.
take a look at that tree. Isn't it odd that the ones around it are fine, but that one,
That does sound very strange.
yeah, it looks weird. Do you want to? I'm going to go and take a closer look.
Okay,
at
go
it.
ahead.
Yeah. Well,
I'll join in on that
Yeah.
party.
So,
I'm
walking sounds.
over.
So Crawl is walking up with you too, and also looking at it. Going to do a knowledge nature.
Knowledge, nature, or
wait, are we watching
Nature or perception?
perception?
I'd said nature a moment ago for
I like perception
Zelen.
better.
I like nature. 22.
Yeah, I did a 18.
The group's in agreement that tree, you can't figure out why it's dead. And if it's a change of water table, then the trees that are near it should have died as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't strike you, Zelen in particular, that there's some kind of a disease that killed that pine tree that the others would escape from. Something else killed it.
Huh.
What's its proximity to any other trees around it that are still alive?
The nearest one that's large would be about 15 feet away.
Oh,
Is there any
really?
fungus growing around the base of the tree?
There is not.
Weird.
Okay, well, that was just a nature, so I guess the only other option looking at it from... I've already nailed one magic roll this time, but seeing if there's something that affected it in a way that isn't natural, would that be something that I could do? Or vocalize it to the more magically inclined people?
Well, you just
Why are you
did.
pointing at me?
Because you make great magic rolls.
Because God gives you power.
I
If
think
God
you
gives me the power to hit,
I
not to
think you already
cast.
have, Jacob, that you've said just that you're in agreement. Nature didn't kill this. It wasn't just a matter of
Right.
Disease, bugs, nematodes, or something else that killed this pine tree. Something else killed it, which puts it in the realm of something arcane.
Do we know what nematodes are?
Potentially?
Can I do I have time to cast a detect magic ritual? I could see if there's any magic
I think we can spare
residual.
10
I got
minutes.
10 minutes to kill, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right,
10 minutes
I do
later,
that.
you're there. So as you cast, I like the sound effect. Diddly diddly do, diddly diddly do. So as you
What
cast
is this?
that,
Bill and Ted's Excellent
right,
Adventure?
that you do note that it still has a residual magic residue,
Huh.
and that it is negative energy.
Oh, that's not good.
And now we have another Victor the Necromancer rant. Negative energy is part of the natural world because it exists as a reflection of the planes. Ah! Rant over.
Boo.
Okay, so
I'm a necromancer
yes,
playing a paladin.
so
This is complicated.
something has messed with this tree. Something is trying.
Bad vibes.
Yeah, bad vibes. There's bad juju here. There's
Can
something.
we use that?
You would say that there is, like, this thing was killed by negative energy.
Oh.
Okay.
So I'm going to start looking around. Is it just this tree, or do I see anything else that?
Yeah, do an investigate.
Yeah. How close are we to this tree? Because I want to like
I think
get
you're right up to it
right up
now.
on it
Yeah,
and just
you're-
start looking it up and
it's
out.
like
See if there's
5 feet away.
see if there's any area where it's focused. Like maybe we can tell
Sure,
where the
do,
energy came
I
from.
guess, whatever. It'd be a nature.
Okay. Nature's one of my.
Yeah, I
favorites.
only did 7 on my investigate.
And I'll
Or-
vocalize what I'm doing.
And I'll take and investigate the same ways. That if nature is more your thing, you're making a comparative thing in your head to other pine trees, or an investigate, you're looking over to see
If it's
anything unusual.
If it's an intelligence-based, wisdom-based, or dexterity-based check, I rolled a unnatural 20.
oh, very good. And Jacob,
I rolled a natural 1.
oh. So, Jacob, as you're looking up, you bap your head on a tree branch. You're like, ow.
I'm
That's
looking
a
at the
pine
wrong
tree.
tree the entire time. Like, guys, it's alive. What are you talking about?
But Boris says, I'm not the tree guy, but he points about 15 feet up the length of the trunk.
I am the undead guy, though.
And he says, what is that? There's something unusual about that little, like a little node on the bark. Something, it just seems different, out of place.
Huh.
The kind of, you'll often see them on like oak trees and, other regular leafy trees.
It's a
But
wasp canker.
it's not that, but it's an unusual bump and a strange thing in the pattern. So them pointing at it, I think the two of you had already made enough knowledge nature checks on this tree that you're like, yeah, that's so weird. It honestly looks like a spot where animals that have antlers or horns, where they drop off. When their horns are, like when deer's antlers are done for the season, they have like a little nub on their head that looks like the crown of the head of a horned animal or an antlered animal that has lost its horns. Maybe coincidentally, but it's, again, way up the side of this tree, and that's what it looks like.
What did Michael say? Abner has
The horned one is his avatar outside the temple, was the gist of what he was saying.
All right, so I don't like this.
Horns. Yeah.
That
Okay, I strongly
horn
recommend
was-
you go with produce flame.
Tree flambe.
Okay. If we're going to do that, can we take a little while to make sure that it's not going to catch the rest of the forest and we can actually burn down this
pine
forest?
being
being
cursed.
pine, it will definitely all be catching.
yeah.
You're
This
going to burn
forest
down
is
a
cursed.
big area.
It deserves to die. So saith the Boris Inquisition.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, it would totally be in character for us to light the
God
forest
says
as we
kill it.
leave.
Can I cure a tree with cure wounds?
It's dead.
No.
Oh.
It's dead.
Well, and
So was Crawl.
She was
she was dying. It's technically
And Krall's
different.
like, I'm right here.
Yeah,
I
but
can
you
hear
vanish
you.
whenever we're not
I
talking
can
about
hear
you.
you.
Sometimes I can still hear her voice.
I'm right next to you.
Yeah, it sounds like, oh, it bit me.
Or, oh, thud.
Ogle, spurt, thump.
Again.
So I can cast a detect poison and disease, but we already know it's magical, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure
it's
it'll
already
help
negative
us.
energy.
Yeah, we've
To know.
we figured out what killed it, and we're deciding right
I'm
now.
just wondering,
if-
should I try to climb this tree and go get whatever is left there?
We didn't
Well,
see
it-
anything left there. I think we just saw the nub of where something would have been.
It'd be like
Yeah.
a bump on the side of a tree. There's nothing
Yeah.
to take off of the tree.
So the question
You
is,
gotta
do you want
hatch
to
it.
do we want to leave and burn it down, or just leave?
Did you just say we could hatch it?
I said unless you used a hatchet. to
Oh,
take it
unless
off.
we used a hatchet. Okay, I'm just, just trying
Baby trees come from.
When a mommy tree and a daddy tree. Where's the cloaca on
Yeah.
a tree?
Ow.
I don't. Yeah,
Why'd you say ow?
I don't know.
Burn it.
I don't want to set the whole Flacken forest on fire.
I do.
I wonder if I can climb up and just produce flame and just hold it against it and burn the
And set the
nubbin.
tree on fire instead.
No.
Not without setting the tree on fire, potentially. It's a pine tree. It's going to go up so fast.
Yeah.
I don't have a hatchet in my bag, so I don't even have something. We couldn't even try to fell the tree.
Can
and
I
then
cut it down
burn
with a hammer?
Boris borrowed a hatchet from Violet.
Oh, yeah, sure enough.
There you go.
Neat.
Okay. Do we want?
Define hatchet. Like,
Like a small hand axe.
how big's this tree?
Big.
Okay.
So we're burning it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just light it up.
Doot, 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 doot. Okay, burn it.
Yeah.
All right. It hurts my druid heart, but I am.
Although, if this whole area catches and burns down to the ground, better stuff could grow up out of that.
Isn't that
Well,
how pine
and-
trees go through their whole season?
It's
depends
how-
on depends on the
kinds.
species.
It's how I've gone through this whole flippin' adventure
Yeah.
so
I was
far.
like, why are you
as I set
suddenly
every
against burning
wood
down
on
forests? Because I
fire.
It's
distinctly
weird that
remember you
you're-
doing
All
it
right,
without
well,
any sort of...
just-
And you're concerned about the dead pine
Jacob,
tree.
can you pick our path and be ready to run? Because if this catches, this place is
Yeah.
a tinderbox.
This
There's
one's
nothing.
dead. It's going to go up quickly.
I
We
know,
are
but
going
everything
that way.
else is dead too. So let's
Not
just
dead, just cursed.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your
Survival?
survival just to make sure that you can get the track out of here.
Can I offer assistance with that skill I don't have?
Knowing at least that we're going back the way that we came. I don't know. 7?
No, we're going the exact opposite direction.
Yeah, you're going
Are we-
through.
All right, I cast a 26 on my survival.
You
So-
cast?
I cast it. Yes, I did.
She cast it high.
so I will tell you which way to run,
Good.
and I'll light the forest on fire. All right, we ready? I'm producing flame.
Smokey the bear just comes walking in line like, guys, please.
All right.
Ah, sentry
Okay,
bear, kill.
Everyone grabs whatever gear they had. You
Yep.
all set.
Yep.
Did anybody have any gear left back over
Oh,
at
our
Violet's?
arrows,
No.
and our darts. Did we get those?
Ooh. We did talk about that at the end of the last episode, but we didn't actually
Roll anything.
do that. Yeah.
Roll percentiles for me.
All right.
You got 3 of them back.
Okay.
You got 1 of them back.
Okay.
And everyone has like taken one step in the direction that Zelen was pointed, saying, "Let's just go that
One
way."
step, I'm walking that way. She can bring up the
Okay,
rear
she's already-
with the burning forest.
And Zelen is ready to cast her thing.
Okay. Yes, and I'm going to throw flame, throwing it at that lump.
Well, then,
Yeah.
in that case, roll it as a whatever kind of a hit you do with that. Is that
We
a,
have first class tickets on the way out of, what is it, Sarn-Tar-Azul.
Sarn-Tar-Azul.
Yeah.
Sarn-Tar-Azul.
First class tickets on the way out of
Yeah.
Sarn-Tar-Azul. Would you
paving
like
stone.
smoking or non-smoking?
Yeah, right.
Apparently smoking.
What am I rolling? I
Your
rolled
spell.
an 18 on it, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
You add your modifier.
Your
that you
spell
do
attack
for-
bonus.
Yeah. Spell attack modifier.
Spell attack modifier is a 7, so that's a 25.
Nice. Yeah, you nail that spot exactly.
Nail it.
You wouldn't have had to roll anything. You hit the tree. It's a huge
Sure.
pine tree.
Yeah.
But to get that exact spot, you did, and it ignites there, and the bark is already burning, and you can
Does
see it
that
starting to catch.
spot do anything? Does it swirl? Does it
It
cry?
screams and releases ghost.
Does
Oh,
it?
God.
Does it
Rolling
do?
it.
Does that spot do anything?
It does not.
Oh,
Okay.
that'd been cool.
But
All
the
right.
fire starts there.
All right.
And it's quickly spreading to the rest of it, just all the resin in this tree. It's a big tree. And I'd imagine that they're already out of eyesight.
Yeah, you look around,
Yeah.
we're not there.
Yeah. No. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as you take off after them, as you guys just get, you're a tenth of a mile away, you can tell there's smoke, it starts, and you can hear the crackling. This fire is going to really go among all these pines. It'll
Sorry,
be,
Owls.
Smokey the bear,
Big
eat your
fire.
heart out.
yeah. So you guys move through that area. It's going to take you easily, moving through Sarn-Tar-Azul, that you're going to be take like a day to get through here. I'm going to roll a single encounter die just to see if you encounter anything in this place.
To be honest, it's more like Sarn-Tar-Rojo now. Thank you. That was very stupid, and I'm proud
Well,
of
the
it.
tar is quite flammable. The Sarn's just going to be there because that's just Welsh for paving stone.
There you go.
And Azul.
Blue paving
Blue.
stone tar.
Yeah, blue.
Now it's red.
Yeah, now it's Rojo.
Now it's kind of scorched. But anything else you want to roll? So I guess whatever your principle is, what your knee-jerk reaction, if that is nature, if it's a survival for seeing nature, something involving the construction of the stones, whatever your thing is, roll that. Let me know what it is, and I'll just see what by the end of this day as you're moving, you've picked up
Yeah,
instead of just
I'll
making a million little rolls. as you
Roll
go
an
through it.
architecture and engineering check, the one that hasn't existed for 2 editions.
Right.
Yeah, no,
So that's an intelligence roll.
my knee jerk is religion
Right.
because
Yeah,
that
sure. Go roll it.
Yeah, you pointed at me and said engineering. Like, oh, that's not a thing. Doesn't matter anyway.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll start
Mine
with you,
either.
Zelen.
Mine is 9.
Okay.
I got a 14 on my survival.
You get the notion as you're going through this place that the way it is slowly collapsed and the hills that are in the town are actually collapsed buildings that have over time collapsed and been grown over. It doesn't strike you that there was a part of the city that looks as though it was like under siege or that it had been destroyed by a natural phenomenon, that it just fell into neglect and just kept decaying and falling apart.
So that the population base changed rather than some other factor.
Right, and
Yeah,
it
okay.
could have been based upon even like availability of water. Who knows? That people just started leaving the area.
But it doesn't feel like there was some sort of event or natural disaster. It's just
there
like
was no war, civil war.
people left, and it just
earthquake.
fell into a state of disrepair.
Right, they just kept going somewhere else. However, as you guys are just getting to the outside of the city and you've been aware of the smoke behind you and that the fire's back there, you get a break in the trees or an area where buildings have more recently collapsed. There's a clear spot, a lot of vines on the ground, and you can see the plume of smoke where part of the forest is on fire back behind you, to your north and west. And you get to a point where with your 14 check, Jacob, you're like, oh, that's unusual. Because you can see that up ahead of you, there's a copse of trees, a lot of pines are in it, and you see one pine in that group of pines that is dead.
And I point that out immediately.
Okay.
Do I feel like just from glancing at it that fire that we started will eventually reach this point as well?
It might go in a different direction with the prevailing winds. It might just burn out.
Are we still in the dead forest, or it's like not the dead forest, but like the weird area where the town was? Where
you're on the edge
fell?
of that. Yes,
okay.
You still are, but yeah, on the edge of it.
More area that we would want to be burning if it was. Do we want to set another fire?
If the fire goes to this direction, or I see what you're saying, yeah, that's up to you guys.
Yeah. So I vocalized that everything that I just said. That was outside.
Have the same weird quasi-antler projections?
As you look up the trunk, Boris, you do note that about 15 feet up, there is that same nub, as though a male horned animal, when it loses its horns,
the
would have had
antlers
it
dropped,
when that dropped.
So I know that trees can propagate under the ground, so they can actually shoot out roots and create certain types of trees and create more trees.
Yeah, suckers. Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is if these trees could potentially be connected. So I talk with my hands.
It's fantastic. I wish anyone could see what you're doing right now, aside from the four of us.
Roll nature.
That is a 7.
Yeah, the pines don't work that way. You don't think that this one pine, they might have been like, from, the other ones are from that one's, pine cones. But this tree, again, is dead, and it doesn't seem as though if it was water, if it was a change in the water table, anything else, a disease, it would have hit all of them.
I'm getting more of a sense of a scorch mark in the grass that was random, that this is whatever that horned one avatar influence. Yeah.
And it's about a day's walk from the other one you saw.
Since we're about to camp, given it's a day's walk,
I guess we won't set this
maybe
one on fire.
check the books. Maybe check the books that we picked up to see if there's any reference to a horned one in them.
Or maybe something involving a pine tree or a tree in general that could make this sort of a mark.
Those books that we got from from the very first.
Oh yeah, the journals.
The journals. I'm sorry. Yeah.
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 Maybe.
I don't know.
I doubt it, given they were specifically Zrek activity in Warland.
Yeah, but if we also think this crystal block could potentially be the way Zreks were created.
You can roll it if you want.
So maybe there's...
As an intelligence roll that you've picked up on something like that?
And I'd like to, are we setting up camp? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're going to need to. It's the end of the day.
Okay, so I'd like to see if maybe there's an index to these crystal blocks, and I can look up horned one and see if I can find something
Glossary,
else.
dead pine.
Oh, pine, burning, pine, alive, pine, dead. It's a 14 on an intelligence check.
You're positive, Boris, that there wasn't anything like this in that. You're right.
Yeah,
it's much too recent and
the wrong
different
end of the
area.
country.
Yeah.
Does it feel like running into another one of these pines, does it feel like that we're following a path, or that it's more of a radius around where it was, that if we hadn't gone in this particular direction, we may have still seen more trees like this, or are we following the trail that someone else took?
The one you couldn't answer, no way to make an assumption based on that, but you are aware that once you started moving in this direction, that the path you took them through to go through the city was the easiest path to get through the collapsed city. That if, you don't believe that Abner was ever able to even leave the tomb, but if Violet did periodically walk to other places, like if she had to go to a different part of the city, this would be the easiest way to get through the city. So it wasn't exactly a path, but it was the best way to go through. And the best way to go through the city has led you to another one of these trees.
Okay.
So if I changed into a rat, I could...
Keep going.
I could run up to the top of a tree and potentially see further and see if I can see like a trail of these pine trees. Do you think a rat could see that?
You don't have to insult my ability to climb trees. I fell out of one once.
Yeah, but you couldn't climb that high. A rat is so much lighter. I could run up.
And it's got a climb speed.
Or a squirrel.
But also,
wouldn't a squirrel be able to do that?
Do you then take on the rat's eyesight, because rats have very poor eyesight?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
about
don't
a-
think you'd see if it is like a day's walk away, even on rough terrain. If you made 5 or 8 miles a day in uneven terrain, I doubt you'd be picking out
A single
particular
tree. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
I can't change it to
one dead
anything flying
trio
yet.
out of how many?
Yeah. If I could fly, I'd go fly around and check it out, but I can't fly yet.
Hey, something to look forward to.
All right, so you set up camp.
Yeah.
Be roll and counter roll.
Oh boy.
Maintaining our watch as usual.
Yep.
Yes, I'll take last watch. Ooh, and I do want to. Well, no, I'll say that in the morning. Never mind.
So you close your eyes saying, I'll say that in the morning instead.
It's like, actually, as a matter.
On which watch is this? This is the third watch.
I think you said
So
you're taking 3, right?
first-
Or you're taking second. This is Zelen's watch.
Zelen, on your watch, you can hear something. You're not sure how far away it is, maybe 50, 60 feet away in the dark, crunching through the brush.
Oh, that's not good. I'm going to wake up everybody else. Something's coming.
I'll take
Wake up.
immediate perception.
Yeah.
About 50 feet away.
And even with
It's
that,
crunchy.
Unnatural 20 on a perception.
it got quiet, but just as it's getting quiet, Boris, as you're waking up and you're hearing those things, you can tell that whatever it is, it seems to have 4 legs, the way that the sound of the stopping crunched. And then there is an additional sound that is reminiscent of something being drugged behind whatever a 4-legged thing would be.
Sounds like a lizard.
Yeah, sounds like a tail.
Yeah.
We know how to handle these guys.
Yeah, right? Dig a pit.
As fast as we possibly can. There is no
Yeah.
buzzing sound anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I got a 19 on the perception, so I don't know if I'm able to just, from what I heard, could I gauge a size of that particular lizard?
Yeah, so not only the
Or if it's
size
a
of
lizard.
it, you think
Or
it's
if it- oh, yeah.
you
Good
are
point.
you are suspecting that it is with that 19. And
We keep on
Jacob,
saying lizard because we've encountered so many.
make some motion
Yep.
like in a direction. You can just make him out in the starlight that he's pointing that way, that's the direction that it is right now. But you feel fairly confident. Yes, it does seem to be one more of these giant lizards that are roaming out here in this area.
Yeah, quietly to Zelen. Make some light. We need light.
Okay.
And
I'll
I'll
produce
knock an
flame.
arrow.
Okay.
Or you could cast fairy fire at it.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got an estimation
Does
of
that
its
does that actually
distance.
make it glow like with light
Uh-huh.
that we could?
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
as you produced flame, you produced frame to cast light or
Frame.
cast light.
Produce frame.
It's now a picture. You made light, and you can see that this thing was slowly stalking forward through the trees there, and now it is lunging forward at you.
Yeah.
And it's-
Do I? Oh, darn. I needed out of 1, so sorry, guys.
15.
Remember, you have your dexterity adjustment with that
I know,
too.
so 4.
So Boris is at a 15. Jacob,
23.
wow.
Wait, Jacob.
Oh, yeah. I do good on the initiative rolls. In this game, at least. On the Thursday game, I do not.
Yeah, right.
And I will not use that die for the rest of the day. It hit the floor, and the floor is too far away.
The floor is lava.
Crawl will generally be going last in this encounter.
Really? After me?
After a 4?
She rolled a 3, 4. She's at 5.
Zelen got Zelened. Wow.
I'm meant to be cleanup.
I hold my action until the last intentionally. Jacob, one of these lizards coming straight at you.
Awesome. I have the owl-fletched feather. Dang it! Why do I always say that?
Jacob pulls out an arrow that has an owl sitting on top of it.
I just need to not say the word fletch because I think that's what's messing me up. I'm just going to call it an owl arrow or an owl or feather. Owl,
I
feather.
like
don't know.
owl arrow.
I like owie arrow.
Owl.
I cast an owie arrow.
I fire what I had prepared at the thing lunging toward us.
Do it.
Damn it! 9?
Misses. And then Boris at 15.
I activate Sacred Weapon, move to attack.
Yes, crossing through that, there's a lot of like underbrush and trees around that could be a problem for some people. But you can like step to the side of one thing and you are in attack range now. too.
Nice. Unnatural 20 for
Wow.
summer class.
Yes, that hits.
Yeah, being at plus 12 is really, really
Yeah, that is
nice.
huge.
Max damage, 16 points.
Nice.
Great hit.
I used my wrong plus to hit.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think that an 11 would have hit, but I used the wrong number.
11 would not have hit.
Okay, I feel better now. I still feel like an idiot, but I feel like a better idiot.
Good hit. And then the monster is attacking next. And let me just see if it is any reason to attack anything apart from Boris.
Yeah, it moves past me and provokes an attack of
Attack of
opportunity.
opportunity.
He was very offended by that arrow that went sailing 20 feet away from him.
No, definitely on Boris. All right, I got real big. You're tough to hit.
Yeah, on the bright side, it's not an undead lizard.
Yeah, I didn't
Well,
cast protection from evil yet.
Yeah, that's a 24
Yeah,
on its
that
first
hits.
attack.
Ooh.
11 points of damage.
Oh.
That was its bite. Crunch right onto you. And then it whips its tail and is trying to attack you again.
Gotta love all these full round attacks.
Yeah, right.
Unnatural 20.
Oh, yeah, that hit too.
That's not
One
good.
day, we're gonna have multiple attacks too, and it's gonna be magical. Next
for
level.
9 more points.
Oh.
Okay.
Crawl is up and she attacks it with a spear. And she hits it
Eee.
and does decent damage to it.
Rolled better than an
Zelen.
11, we know for sure.
I'm going to cast Entangle in such a way that I just capture it. I'm not going to capture Boris or Crawl.
That's right, that's 2 melee people. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. It's a big enough thing.
But remind me again what Entangle does. Does it stop it from being able to
Grasping
move?
weeds
or-
and vines sprout. For the duration, these plants turn the ground into difficult terrain. A creature in the area must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained
Okay.
by the entangling plants until the spell ends. Restrained by the plants can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save DC. On a success, it frees itself.
What's your spell save DC?
It is something really good that you're not going to make. It's a 15.
Got it. Okay. So we'll get to that. So you cast your spell and there was no
Yes.
save initially?
It says a creature in the area when you cast the spell must succeed on a strength saving
So
throw
right at
or
that.
be restrained.
Okay. So I'll roll that first.
Don't make it. Don't make it.
I don't make it.
Hey,
Yes!
nice.
So now its attacks are at disadvantage and our attacks are at advantage.
Is it just all attacks?
All attacks.
Heck
Now
yeah.
I have to. This is a concentration spell, so I don't know what that. I don't know if
So-
I can also cast Fairy Fire or if that.
No, Fairy Fire is another concentration
Yeah.
spell,
Yeah.
but it's net the same. It's just a different.
Okay, so I'm going to
DC.
keep this one going.
Right,
Yeah,
and just
right.
like produce flame or darts or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Then that was the bottom of the round, top of the round. Jacob, you're up.
Awesome, cool. Firing a regular arrow at it.
At
since-
advantage.
Yeah, since advantage is not needed because we already
Right.
have it. Okay. The first one was an 18.
Okay.
First one was an 18. Like, okay, might still roll the 20.
Would have hit it all by itself.
Exactly. Oh, cool. All right, so that is a die. It is below its hit point maximum, correct?
Yes.
Are you using a bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark?
I'm using a bonus action.
Thank you, Boris.
I got so used to not having spell slots, I just forgot that was a thing you can do. Wow. 19 points of damage.
Wow.
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 Yeah, that
Thank
was
you, Owen.
very, very hurty.
Yeah.
It took the damage.
Hey.
It's still alive.
Good for it.
And then Boris.
All right, yeah. Okay, so I've either got that or I'll take a nat 18 for a 30.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a hit.
My highest is a 32.
Very nice.
And I will spend a spell slot to smite it. Can I borrow your d8s? Thank you.
Kill it.
And nah, I'm not going to
I
bother
want
casting
lizard for
spells.
breakfast.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you. 10, 12, 13.
Is that it? You done?
Yeah.
It takes the damage. It's still alive.
sorry. They had just rolled well for me. I guess they weren't
Yeah.
ready to go again.
Need a
And
glass
then
of water in 10 minutes.
It's attacking. Let's see who's up there. Crawl and Boris
Yeah.
are up in the front there, and it's attacking.
It's coming after
at-
me. I've done more
disadvantage.
damage.
Poor little
And we'll
Crawl.
see. It's just a matter of where it's kind of bound by this, like what's in the range for it. But does it make the strength check at the start of its round?
Hold on. Let
I
me
think
look.
as its action, wasn't it?
Is that as its
Um,
action instead of an attack?
Oh,
A
that's a good point.
creature restrained by the plants can use its action
Ooh.
to make a strength check against your spell save DC.
So there you go.
On a success, it frees itself.
I'm gonna do its tantamount to a like a morale check, old school. And yeah, it's gonna go with its knee jerk. It's gonna unrestrain itself or try to. So it's gonna see if it can't break itself free. So that was a 15 with your DC.
I'm pushing
Yeah,
my
she's-
spell to
it's
make
not-
it harder.
Yeah, no, I got that. It's not a contest of wills.
Okay,
15.
so
Is it stronger than
I
plant?
think you said your DC was 15.
DC is 15. I rolled a 9. At its strength, it's at +5.
Oh.
That's a 14.
Sorry.
Neener's a good thing.
We're winning, so
it must have
meter
been
meters
you literally
appropriate.
pushing down on the air. So that
Using
is
your
its
water
action.
bending to bend
so
the
would it still get
plants.
its second
No,
that is his whole action.
Its action is multi-attack, so it doesn't get anything.
I knew that. I
You
just
get
asked anyway.
nothing.
So now Crawl stabs it again.
And then it's Crawl's attack to stab it. That's exactly right.
To quote Zelen from a previous episode, you get squat.
It rolled an 18 on its first one.
She.
I said it. And a 15 on the second. With the 18, with her pluses, that is a hit.
It's identical what I did with my advantage. Like, ooh, 18. Okay.
We all rolled 18.
Oh, nice.
And she kills it.
Oh, nice.
Good for her.
What does she
And
roll?
now we'll have a nice, yummy breakfast of lizard steak.
Damage-wise, what does she roll? Can we know?
She rolled a natural 6, and she is at plus...
3.
Plus 3 with that.
Nice.
Did 9 points of damage.
I could just see it from here.
Oh.
It's like, strength plus 3. Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, you guys know what you're having for meals for a little while,
That's
too.
right.
But killed a giant lizard.
Yay.
Nice.
Very
and
cool.
that was at the very end of watch. So I'd imagine you wouldn't go back to bed at this. That was the
Oh, yeah, that was the... Oh, actually, that was the third watch.
Yeah,
they got
so
one
there's
more watch.
to go. So some people go back to bed.
Crawl doesn't.
I didn't throw a dart. You shot an owl arrow. Do
Yeah,
you
I'll
see if you can get it
I'll
back?
go track that down.
Okay, roll that percent. Do you want high or do you want low?
I'll take low.
Okay.
91.
Okay, lost it.
Aw.
So the rest of the night, it goes by without incident.
And we get the benefits of our long rest.
And so the
right?
spell that I
Yeah.
cast, I
Yeah,
get
you
back,
still will.
right?
Right, yeah. And the hit points I lost, I got back.
And whoever's on last watch, Jacob, I could imagine you can put your time and attention to getting some steaks out of this
Oh, yeah,
thing.
definitely.
So
Making
it's
breakfast.
lizard steaks for breakfast and building the fire up. Unless you have other things to do, you're choosing your spells for the morning.
Snaking.
I become quite the culinary master, and I make some really good hot sauce out of this poison, the venom.
Fugu fish hot sauce.
You notice that there's
Yeah.
a wall and an outlet and an air fryer, and you're like, yeah, just pop that stuff right into it and cook that stuff up.
Man, these Kremlin guys, they knew how to live.
Yep.
And then you're definitely outside of the effects of the city if you start moving, but you do have this dead tree you were talking about from last night.
Yeah.
Did you want to
we
do
wanna
much of the
burn
same
that?
thing tonight?
Yeah, I think we want to burn it on our way out again. But
Another one?
the thing that I said I wanted to wait for in the morning was
Yes.
at this point, knowing that we're getting out of the dead area, I do want to start making regular survival checks, looking for tracks again to see that life is coming back into the area and if there's anything unusual going on.
Okay, yeah. So make that first check, and we'll do the kind of retroactively.
Yeah.
Even though you're still standing right there. Boris, Zelen, any comment about are you going to burn this tree or not?
We're getting kind of far afield from where the city was, and if now that we found another, I'm worried about a third. I'm not sure we want to just have a line of burning marking our trail from here to
And
there.
we're-
So
I
you
agree.
mean not
Yeah.
anymore, because that's kind of been our MO.
Well, we very explicitly set a very large fire previously. Just yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
the
do
rest
not
of the fires
burn this
have been
one.
more incidental.
Oh, I'm thinking back to the Grix.
You can't imagine that.
Oh yeah, that was good.
You lit that on fire too. You can't imagine, as Boris is pointing out tactically, that the other fire. I mean, fires happen periodically. Forest fires like that. So it might not be anything at all. But people could see that for just
It's a
scores of
marker,
miles.
yeah.
Just scores of miles. And to have two that are a day's walk from each other, that does draw attention.
Yeah,
But one by
we're making
itself
a trail.
isn't much of a thing.
So, I'd like to destroy it. We currently lack the capacity to destroy it unless we're gonna tie a rope around it and me at one end and crawl at the other and
Yeah.
pull it over.
So I agree. I don't think we need to burn it. I got a 16 on my survival for looking at life in
Okay,
the
so
area.
you don't burn it. You're walking out from there. And
Hey,
again,
wait a minute. Can I say something? I have a ritual that is locate animal or plant.
Yes.
So I can focus on a particular type of beast or plant and concentrating on the voice of nature in my surroundings, I can learn the direction and distance of the closest one within 5 miles.
You'll just get this one.
Are you talking about? Oh, yeah. Well, actually,
Wouldn't I get 2? Wouldn't I get this one
No,
and
it's just
another
you
one?
get the
Closest.
closest. You just
Yeah.
get this one.
Oh, never mind.
yeah.
But it was a nice
It was
try.
a good thought. Yeah.
It's a very good thought. And if you were to go 8-10 miles away from here and try it, you might get something then.
I was thinking along those lines. I thought you were going along with what I was saying about ooh, let's find out if there's animals back here, because I'm thinking if I do that survival check and I do see that there are tracks here, it's got a little bit of the remnants of that deadness, but things are living here. Burning it down might just kill a lot of the local wildlife. And-
Agreed. Yeah.
But if this area is not as poor off, knowing that we burn that might make this area better in time.
Well,
Right,
and the
yeah.
lizard was eating something. So, there's got to be
The circle
So
of life.
with your 16 from a minute ago, Jacob, you are noting that this is reminding you of a more growing, living, active forest.
Okay.
And you haven't seen that since you were on the other side of the city where stuff started to get weird, really just before you first saw Violet. So you do think you're heading into an area that's a little more natural, whatever that means in this area?
Yeah.
So,
Making that exact point, saying this area is not as dead as the other one. It'll probably get back to normal given time, especially since we burned the epicenter of this dead feeling.
Right.
Okay.
where
Dead
that
energy.
started, yeah. Yeah, you do know that when that fire spread, it would have been all around the area of the tomb.
Mm-hmm.
So that area would be like the epicenter of a massive
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
now.
So yeah, we
So you're welcome
thank you.
that I set the whole thing on
Oh, I
fire.
was like,
You guys are traveling through this day. Let me just go ahead and roll a wandering encounter and see what comes up with that.
can I make any more survival checks? Just looking for tracks and things in the area.
Well, I was holding that 16 as you go
Oh,
through the
okay,
day, so I'm
okay.
making just a million smaller
So
rolls.
while we rock, I'd like to be aware of those wasps, and because they acted really funny and they made a funny sound. Remember that? We noticed as they
It
were
sounds something like
scraping, as they were scraping on the bark, it made a.
That laugh was purely Dad's face. Just the, I can't believe he did that. That
disappointment in his eyes.
well, and the shake of the head. I'm so familiar with that.
Sorry, I was being very a dad just now.
Sorry, you were making a serious point.
I was. They made a very scrapey sound. Remember,
Yeah.
they had a really
Climbing on the
distinct sound on
trees,
the.
yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm going to keep my ears open for that sound
Okay.
as
Well,
we walk
hopefully
along.
we've sedated the majority of the population with the amount of smoke
well, that
we've
is
put into
true.
the immediate
yeah.
area.
Yeah, that is-
True.
that is a good point.
But also the explosion that we originally released him could have launched him very far.
Yeah, it launched me pretty far, but I almost didn't survive, so we're just assuming they did.
Boom, smack.
You're coming up on a river.
I remember. I was there.
Small river coming through this area called a large stream. And as you're approaching that thing about fresh
A
water,
creek?
replacing the water in our skins, things like that. As you're coming up to it, you notice that almost right away, even without rolling kind of a nature check, that a lot of the small animals, things that you would consider small game, Jacob, goes quiet, goes to ground.
Mm.
And
That's
That's a bad
That's a sign.
you probably put that to that. That's often it could be all of you. That's
Hold
that's a reaction to a predator.
Yeah, that
but
universal
it could be
sign
you.
to have everyone stop so our own footsteps
So,
aren't
yeah.
adding to the noise.
Yeah, Crawl literally turns around to make sure nothing's behind you guys.
Yeah.
And as soon as we
Head on
stop,
a swivel.
I will take that immediate perception, or I guess perception is what we'd be trying to find, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. You can all roll that.
9.
hope you guys did better than me.
26.
Good. 6.
Yeah, yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Sorry, Crawl made. Everyone follows the direction of the way that Zelen turns in her gaze, and just on your side of the bank, but coming up the bank where it's uneven, there's like stones and rocks and fallen trees, like there always are at larger creeks like that. There is a large thing, looks like a bear, coming up over the rise of this, and as it stands itself up over that rise, and this is still about 40 feet away. This bear looks like majority of it is bear, but the front of this thing looks like it's one of those giant owls on it.
Oh,
Ooh.
It is an owl bear.
half owl,
Okay,
half
so
bear,
I'm-
all enemy.
Okay,
You're
so
right.
I can't talk to owl bears. I'm from the sound of ew.
Yeah.
Less you, more O.
You
We're
can
not-
talk to it. It won't understand you.
Okay.
Yeah, its diplomacy skills are limited to bite.
Am I allowed to do something really fast, or do we have to roll in its?
Is it kind of a bonus action or free
Up to
action
him.
thing?
Surprise round.
No, just normal action. Instantaneous.
No, that's the speed at which it happens.
Yeah. So everyone roll in its.
Okay. All right. Hey,
You rolled an A?
18.
Ooh.
17.
Ooh.
6.
Stop saying ooh.
18.
Ah.
And then Crawl.
Oh, I thought that was Crawl's.
No.
All right, my dex bonus is a +5. Do I beat its?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. It's almost it's the exact same order, isn't it?
Mike.
Except for the monster last
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
Jacob, you see this thing is just like looking at you guys. It just realized you're there, and you can imagine a moment like the feathers around its neck are gonna,
Oh,
really
yeah.
punch up, and it's gonna be charging in your direction.
It's gonna
Are we
come towards
talking
us.
grizzly bear or brown bear?
Well,
Panda? koala.
Brown bears are grizzly bears.
I've never pictured it that way before, but if this is like an owl panda bear,
Owl koala bear.
human flesh.
It's an owl koala bear.
owl koala. Oh, no.
Yeah, what do you think a drop bear
An
is?
owl red panda.
I would say, judging by the hit points I rolled for
Basically
this
foxes.
thing, that this is probably like your, a Kodiak kind of owl bear.
Ursus
that's
Ursus
not good.
horribilis.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
big
Bear.
big,
Yeah,
big
terrible bear.
Yep.
Yeah, terrible bear.
Jacob,
Jacob, you're
like
up.
the coward he is going to take a few steps back to be behind the people with larger armor classes, and then fire a owl feather arrow at the angry-looking red panda bear.
It is not a red panda
The Doom
bear.
Panda.
A 26 to
You
hit.
missed because you called it a red panda bear.
Yeah, you were targeting the red panda behind it.
There's a collection of leaves in a down tree that the patterning is coincidental like a red panda. And you got
Screw
it.
you, weird fox thing.
They are so cute, though.
Babu, you fox here.
And now it's dead. You hit it.
As a bonus action, casting Hunter's Mark and firing.
It is not beneath its hit point total.
I know.
It is now.
It is now.
It's
with,
about to be.
14 points of damage.
Good hit.
Thank you.
And then it is charging, and it moves faster than your speed would be, and so it'll be at you guys at the end of the charge. It's going to be rolling a single attack.
Okie dokie.
And I'm just doing the math. real
Targeting
quick.
me.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
I put you
Because
guys
I
between
am
it.
most front.
If I pissed it off and it really wants to get to me, it's running past all three of y'all.
That's what move actions are for.
And we're going to just rule it as a 1, 2, 3, 4. Round the table. 1, 2, 3, 4.
For Crawl, yep.
Yeah.
Crawls the fourth.
Let's go for a 2.
If
That'd
it
be
goes
fantastic.
to 2, then we are getting opportunity attacks. And it is a 4.
it-
It's attacking the
It's
magnet.
attacking Crawl?
Yeah.
Hey, she's at full hit points now.
She needs to stop bathing in like barbecue sauce.
and butter.
You're right.
Right.
Oh, man.
What does that thing do for a living? What was her job back in the place?
You called her it and thing now.
Thank you, Thing, for taking the impact.
Cousin it.
Thank you, thing. Okay, this thing's attack.
Was that Crawl or the owl bear?
Yeah, that's that's the owl bear. That's an unnatural 22.
Ooh.
Oh.
Wait. A
Yeah.
natural 22.
Yeah, that's even
I
less,
rolled a natural 23.
even less unnatural, and it rolled almost maximum. It just did 14 points of damage.
Ow.
Ooh.
Yeah, bear.
Owl bear.
Owl bear.
That just took her down half.
Jeez.
Its second attack is a double clawing attack,
Gee, money.
and thankfully it rolled very low. Rolled a 2,
No kidding.
which made it a 9.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're getting all the numbers. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. And then next person up, that would be
Boris.
Don't forget your advantage.
Good to know. I am taking a bonus action and casting Wrathful Smite on myself
all right.
to do more damage and potentially frighten it because that's nice. Then
That way we can shoot it in the back as it's running
is
away.
Sacred. Sacred Weapon is an action, so I'm not doing that. I'm just straight up attacking.
All right, roll it.
Ooh, that's pretty nice. Let's see if I get a 20.
Oh, it was close though.
Yeah, right. 25 versus armor class.
Definitely hit it.
Okie dokie. Okay, so that's 10 physical and 5 psychic. It also needs to make a wisdom save.
Okay. What's the DC?
The DC is 14.
Okay, coming up. And I roll a 13. What
All
happens
right.
when it fails its save?
It is frightened of me. So it has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while it can see me, and it can't willingly move closer towards me.
Nice.
Okay, wow, that's really interesting. How to roll that, to play that for a thing like this. Because being an animal, it might just run away.
It's true.
Given Kroll's hit points, deal. Though it's not an animal, it's a monstrosity.
Yeah, it is
It's
a magical,
aggressive and
animal.
shenanigans.
right.
Because Wizard did it.
Yeah.
So it's still staying just here.
Yeah, it's
so
not fleeing from
as long as it can see you,
it has disadvantage
it has
on ability
disadvantage.
checks and
attack rolls.
right, which aren't
That's like-
saving throws,
That's
but
like
whatever.
The thing you do is impose disadvantage on all of his things.
Yeah, I'm really getting a kick out of it.
Yeah, I can tell by the smile. Next person up is Crawl. She's attacking, and she'd like to kill this thing. And her attack roll, first one is an 18. Now, she doesn't have advantage for any reason, does she? No, she doesn't.
No.
So an 18, and with her pluses, that's definitely a hit. She rolls damage.
Good.
And does more damage to it. Zelen.
I cast Fairy Fire.
Oh, all right.
How carefully are you angling that?
Oh, yeah, I'm very carefully angling that just to be
To
on
do
the
what?
bear. I just want to light up the bear, nothing else, nothing around it. Lasden's light as we know it amongst ourselves.
Okay, and I get a save from that, don't I?
Yes, you do. It is
Dexterity, I believe?
dexterity.
Fails it.
Ooh, nice.
Nice. It is
So
now
now-
Glow Bear.
It's Glow Bear, and everybody has an advantage.
Nice. We have advantage. It has disadvantage. This
Any
is the best
attack
fight.
against an affected creature or object has advantage if the attacker can see it. So obviously you can see
I
it.
like it.
Yeah, okay. And then Jacob, top of the round.
Yeah. Regular arrows since we don't need advantage.
Right.
And firing at it. Okay, reasonable. More reasonable. 25 to hit.
Definitely hit.
And it is my favorite enemy. It has below its hit point maximum now. Rolling lots of dice. And that is 17 plus 5, 22 points of damage.
Gee whiz. Yeah. Pretty huge.
Nice.
It is still being of very low, I think like a 2 intelligence, something like that. I'm sorry, 3 intelligence. This thing definitely just decides to run away. So it is actually provoking an attack of opportunity as it just turns about to run.
Should I cast Spike Growth? So as it runs, it has to run through spikes?
Oh, it still have to happen on your round.
We'll see if it's
Oh.
still alive when
Okay.
we get
Okay,
to you.
so Jacob, Boris, Crawl, Zelen, attacks of opportunity.
I think it's only
Can you
melee.
do range?
It's,
Yeah.
it's when you leave its threatened squares, which is the ones
so
directly
it's
around
just
you.
the melee. So it's just me and Crawl.
just, okay, Boris and Crawl, attacks of opportunity.
I mean, I would have loved to have taken it. But
Right.
I would have felt a little dirty for taking it, though.
Taking advantage of it.
Better.
Yeah, right. 23 versus armor class.
Yours definitely hit.
And I'm going to spend a
Crawl's
spell
missed.
slot
Did you roll
for
advantage with Crawl?
divine
Oh, no, I didn't.
for divine smite. Can I borrow your d8s again?
Crawl hit.
Hey!
Yay.
Nice.
I would have
Chris,
written that
you
down in my
advantage
XP if
and-
we were doing that.
And yay.
Oh yeah, and that's still going. Nice. So that is
Crawl just did 10 points of damage to it.
14 physical, 6 radiant, and 6 psychic for 26 more points of damage.
Sheesh.
Jiminy crickets.
Ba-boom!
Yeah. Crawl wouldn't have had to have done any damage to it, and that would have killed it. That's just staggering to me. I still think of you guys as being, I'm sorry, fairly low-level characters. But when you team up all your stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive.
When we maximum overlap because something just did, probably about a quarter of the hit point total here.
Yeah, spending spell slots to do extra damage
Oh, man, that's
mixed
that's
together
huge.
with getting advantage on
Yeah.
every single attack.
I can do one more of those. That's my limit.
This thing at armor class of 13, which is natural armor class. It's a 7d10 plus 21 hit die creature. It had 80 hit points. And
Wow.
that fast, you guys took it from 80 to negative 15.
Wow.
I mean, that was
18 seconds.
brutal. Yeah, like just that. The thing's like, oh, I think I'll get a salmon out here. Yeah, maybe a salmon or turn over a log. And then,
We're acting in self-defense. It came after us.
That is true.
And to think, we just killed Smokey.
He was
the
just going
owlbear.
to talk to us about putting out our campfires.
that's all it was
Well, no,
there
he was
for.
coming to kill us because we burnt down most of the forest.
Yeah, you burned down his campfire.
So do you want to do curing on Krull or should I?
Yeah, I can do 20 hit points worth just with lay on hands.
That would put her right back up to her maximum again.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so you do, and that is great. This would be a good place you guys was going to camp for the night, to...
Yeah.
Yeah, we
so
can
do
have
bed down
bear
right here.
and lizard steak.
Yeah,
oh my
right?
gosh, surf and turf. Turf and worst.
Turf and lizard.
And fresh water right here.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's
because
a
we're
good
by a
one. yeah.
river. That's right.
And as you're...
Make some quick skins out of its skin.
and everyone, go ahead and roll a nature check or survival or investigate, because it's like on everybody's mind. Whatever your best is.
So a +2, a +2, or a +2.
Yeah, so it's all
Unnatural
For a 12.
20.
a
12.
natural 20 and 2 12s. Jacob, as you guys kind of...
How about Crawl?
You're skinning this thing down there, and Crawl rolls very low. with a
Troll's
3
taking
natural.
watch.
Apparently, Jacob says, look, And over on the far shore, the other bank of this thing, you see in a copse of pine trees that most of them are alive, the largest one about the same size, there's one large dead pine tree in the middle of all of that.
Thank you for listening. We are looking for your feedback. Tell us what you think on Twitter using the hashtag Unnatural20. To learn more about the podcast and us, go to theempiresedge.com. And to help keep us recording, you can support the podcast at subscribestar.com/the-empires-edge.